This formula completely rewired the way I look at food and the way I can get ripped in my sleep. And the way I mean in my sleep, I mean subconsciously, where it's like I just do these things naturally by muscle memory every single day and I wake up leaner. It really doesn't take much conscious effort because it's like it's just such a natural habit for me. And I want you guys to pay attention. If you are not going to watch this whole video, click off it right now. If you think you're just going to watch like a few minutes in and then take that piece of advice and implement it, it's not going to work. Like, you need to understand the full concept I'm about to explain to you, not just fragments of it, okay? Because you're actually going to do yourself. I'd rather you just keep doing what you're doing than implement little fragments of what I'm about to say. Either do all of it or none of it, okay? So everybody knows getting ripped, right? You guys are here because you want to get ripped. You're probably skinny fat right now. You're probably like average weight, maybe you're like 170 pounds, 5'11", but you have no muscle definition, and maybe you go to the gym, whatever it is, but you just don't know how to get that definition, that ripped physique. And you know it comes down to the three portions: the food you eat, your exercise, your training, and your sleep. But really, I mean, it really just comes down to the food you eat, because I got ripped, or I at least got my first bit of muscle definition. I saw abs for the first time simply by just manipulating the food I was eating and diligently eating specific food. And I came up with this formula that during that period that completely transformed everything for me. And after that, I started training. I started getting in the gym, lifting weights, so I could just amplify all the progress. And sleep is something, I mean, everyone can do. Just get 7 to 8 hours of sleep. There's not really much to be said about that. So what are we talking about first? Food. That's all I'm going to talk about this video, because food is the most daunting part for some people, where they hear the word diet and their brain just shuts off. They have like a knee jerk reaction to it where they're just like, oh, I heard the word diet, I can't do this. But I want you to understand, when I say the word diet, all it literally means is the food you're eating. So if you eat pancakes, if you eat cheeseburgers and pizza all day and candy, that's still a diet. If you eat vegetables and the healthiest foods you can think of, that's also a diet. A diet is just like, what is your daily routine of eating composed of? That's all it is. It's not complicated. So diet is like synonymous with me saying the foods you eat. Okay, so let's get into it. So we're going to talk about food, how you can manipulate food to get ripped. So I want you guys to look at this right here. This is the ultimate food criterion. If you follow this, if you diligently understand what I'm about to explain to you, this is going to transform the way you can look at food, where you don't need to follow a meal plan. I don't follow a meal plan. I don't meal prep all my food in little boxes. I just eat whatever I want. If I'm at a restaurant, I know exactly what to eat, and I wake up leaner the next day with more definition, with more muscle, with less body, like everything. It's like subconscious because I understand this to a T. So first off, the ultimate food criterion. So there's three bubbles. High protein, high in protein. So food needs to be high in protein. It needs to be low calories. It needs to be satiating and filling. Because what are really the main struggles when people are dieting? When people are cutting down? When people are getting shredded? They struggle with getting in their protein. They struggle with staying under a certain calorie limit, and they struggle even. And if they do those two things, they struggle with staying full. They're always hungry. They're like struggling, they're stressed all the time, they're always thinking about food. So this is going to tackle exactly how to solve that problem, and then we're going to get into the next one. So there's really three bubbles that you need to worry about, like I just described. And you ideally want foods that are all three of these things, that are low calories, high in protein, and they're really filling. Because if you have those, it really, it doesn't matter how you track. I mean, at the end of the day, if you like eat these foods in this golden food zone, which I'll get into in a second, you're just gonna get ripped like subconsciously, as long as you eat like a normal person. But first thing, foods that are high in protein. And keep in mind, what I want to talk about is you can also eat foods that are overlapping in two of the bubbles and maybe not the third one. For instance, I have a lot of foods that are satiating and low in calories. Like, I drink a lot of diet soda. I have a lot of fruit, watermelon, strawberries, blueberries. All these foods are low in calories and they're really filling. But obviously they have no protein. Diet soda, fruit doesn't have protein. And then on the flip side, you have foods that are high in protein, but they're really filling, but they're not necessarily low in calories. And this one's a little bit rarer. You typically won't have this. I don't recommend having this when you're cutting down, just because low in calories is like the most important thing. You want to stimulate the fat loss. But for example, it would be like a ribeye steak is a food that's satiating. It's going to fill you up and it's high in protein, but it's like 1,000 calories if you have like, I don't know, 12, 16 ounces of ribeye, because it's a really fatty steak. And then there's also foods that are high in protein, low calories. So really, you just want to have foods that are in this category right here and this category right here, not necessarily this one. Like I'll explain, you can kind of have whatever you want as long as you stick to your diet parameters or your guidelines. You hit you hit your protein goal. You stick to your calorie limit every single day. You can kind of have whatever you want, but this will make it as easy and as straightforward as possible for you to just do that every single day, subconsciously, unconsciously. So, for instance, foods that are high in protein and low calories, like Quest bars. I mean, they're high in protein, they're low calories, but no one's really getting full off a Quest bar. Same thing like Oikos makes little protein shakes, Greek yogurt protein shakes. They're high in protein, low calories, but they're like tiny. So now let's talk about this: the golden food triangle. Foods that are high protein, low calorie, satiating, and filling. So these are some of the golden foods. There's a bunch of them, but I just listed off some for example. Chicken breast. Every like 4 ounces of chicken breast. So keep in mind, 4 ounces is a quarter of a pound. A pound of chicken breast is 400 calories. It's 88 grams of protein. Now tell me, how many pounds of chicken breast can you eat before you get full? Like, it's one of those foods where it's like nearly impossible to overeat on. Same thing with Greek yogurt. I listed some specific brands because I don't like just saying Greek yogurt because people just don't know what I mean if I'm not specific. So these are the specific brands you can get. Dannon, everyone knows Dannon. They have one type called Light and Fit. It's like 80 calories per cup of Greek yogurt and 12 grams of protein. Chobani makes them. They're 60 calories per cup, 12 grams of protein. And then Oikos Triple Zero, I think they're 90 calories a cup and like 15 grams of protein. Another one, egg whites, super low calories, genuinely just pure protein. Also, like very lean ground turkey or ground beef. If it's like 93% and above, if it's like 94% lean, 93% lean, or anything even higher, that's a really good choice. That's one of the golden foods. And then protein shakes, some of them like Core Power Elite, Core Power 26 grams, Owyn, Owyn Elite. And these are foods that are all going to fill you up. They're low in calories and they're high in protein. So it's like if you eat these every single day, you're just going to get ripped. Like as long as you just don't like crazy overeat on these, like it's going to be really hard for you to overeat on these foods, but it's really going to help you get ripped. But now you're probably wondering, how much food can I eat in a day? So I just told you the best foods to eat, like how to eat when you're out of the house essentially, and just how to choose foods in general. But now you're probably wondering, how much food can I eat each day? Which is actually an incorrect question, which is why it's crossed out here. The correct way to frame this question is, what is the most amount of calories I can eat each day and still get ripped fast? So in about 90 days or so, assuming you're a skinny fat dude. Most of my audience are skinny fat. So what's the most amount of calories I can eat every single day and get ripped fast? That's really what you're asking, right? Right? Because that's all that matters. Because when people say, how much food can I eat each day, they start to associate like the size of the food with how much they're eating. Where if they have like 3 pounds of watermelon, they'll say that's a lot of food, even though it's like half the calories as like 5 tablespoons of peanut butter, for example, and 5 tablespoons of peanut butter is like hundreds of calories. So what is the most amount of calories I can eat each day and still get ripped fast? So the answer is multiply your current body weight by 10. I've given references to calculators online. You can look up BMR calculator online. It'll tell you specifically how many calories, but it's going to be essentially this. It's essentially just going to be what your body weight is currently multiplied by 10. So for example, you weigh 180 pounds, eat 1,800 calories a day. If you weigh 170 pounds, eat 1,700, 160 pounds, 1,600, 150 pounds, 1,500. It's that simple, right? You guys get it. This is how many calories you eat every single day. And now you're probably wondering, well, Daniel, what does that actually look like in a day? You're like, okay, 1,500 calories, I can read the nutrition label. No. This is like what it actually looks like. This is a example of a daily routine you can kind of follow. And this is just an example. I'll get into like how you can actually do this yourself in a minute. But what does this actually look like in a day? Let's say, for example, 8 a.m., you have a Core Power Elite protein shake. They're pre-made protein shakes, 230 calories, 42 grams of protein. And if you guys don't know what I'm saying, if you guys don't know these brands, I want you to look up pictures of everything I have listed here just so you can get it in your brain, because I don't want you guys to just hear the words I'm saying and just get like all frustrated and confused and just want to not do this altogether, because this video if I had it before, would genuinely completely transform the way I looked at food. Where before it was super daunting, the idea of meal prepping, the idea of tracking my food, my brain would just shut off and I'd say, I can't do this. Right. But if you really understand this, if you look up pictures of what I'm saying, it's going to be a lot more straightforward. You're going to be like, oh, yeah, I've seen that in the grocery store. I've seen that at the gas station before. I know what that is. Right. So it's going to make it a lot easier to understand. So 8 a.m., let's say you have a Core Power Elite pre-made protein shake, 230 calories, 42 grams of protein. Then you also have 2 cups of Greek yogurt and you throw in some blueberries, right? That's a pretty normal breakfast for people. Most people I talk to don't really have big breakfasts. Usually they just have some snacks or some pre-made food and then just go out the door and go to work. So okay, let's say you have that, and then around 10 a.m. you have a Quest bar. Cool. Around noon you have actually have like a lunch. You have 10 ounces of grilled chicken, chicken breast with some sugar-free ketchup, right? Chicken and ketchup. Who doesn't like that? It's 275 calories, 55 grams of protein. Let's say late mid afternoon, you're feeling a little bit hungry. You have a banana and a Chobani Flip Greek yogurt. So if you know what that is, it's just Greek yogurt, but like you kind of flip it in, and it has like a bunch of little toppings, and you flip them together, so it tastes good. But that's just an example. And then for dinner, you have 12 ounces of 93% lean ground beef, red hot Red Hot sauce. You guys know Red Hot, the brand. Uh, Hot sauce, buffalo sauce. It's all like 0 calories or 5 calories a serving. So you have that, and then you also have a pound of watermelon to go with it, right? Like, who's not getting at least 75% or 80% full eating this? Like, I mean, it's a lot of food. And it's high in protein, it's low in calories. Okay, so total for the day is 1,805 calories and 227 grams of protein. Like an absurd amount of protein. You don't need this much protein. You only need, for instance, if you're eating 1,800 calories a day, that typically would mean you are 180 pounds, right? So that all you need to really eat is 180 grams of protein per day. And then you're probably wondering, how do I know how much calories are in what I eat? So now I'm actually going to take it off of this screen, throw you into my fitness pal on my phone, and actually show you how I track, because I do this every single day. And I've done this since the start of my journey, since the very start of my journey, before I got in the gym, before I did any cardio, before I knew anything. I started tracking my food. I lost 25 pounds in my first 2 or 3 months, and I got abs for the first time. Now, this did leave me more skinny fat, but that got fixed once I started incorporating training and more protein. But this is the most important part, so I'm going to get into it right now. Okay, so now I'm in my fitness pal. I created a new account just so you guys can see from the start exactly what to do. So first, ask for my name, ask me for my goals. It doesn't matter what your goals are, because I'm going to tell you exactly what to make your settings. So you don't even have to. It doesn't even matter what any of these are. So yeah, it's just put in your information. You know, how tall are you, your weight. It doesn't matter what you put in. I'm telling you, because I'm going to show you how to set it to do it for whatever you want it to be. It really doesn't matter what you click here. You just agree to everything, and then once we get into the dashboard, I'll show you what to do. So it's loading. It says whatever our calorie goal is. It doesn't matter what it says. You don't have to buy the premium either. So now you're on this screen. It's like the dashboard tab. What you're gonna do is click the middle where it says how many calories you have remaining. Click that. It's gonna bring this up, but don't even bother. You're gonna click onto goal. It's gonna show you your goal, whatever it is, and you're gonna make that what I just described previously. So if it's like 18, if you're 180 pounds, make it 1,800. If you're 170 pounds, make it 1,700. Right now I'm 175 pounds, so I'm just gonna make it 1,750, assuming that I was going. My goal was to get shredded right now and to cut down. So my goal cannot be created. Hold on one second. Okay, we're gonna click the diet. We're gonna do it through this way. So click the diary tab, click the calories remaining in the top right, goal. I'm gonna make it 1750. There we go. Okay, and we're gonna make our protein 40% because that's how much we weigh. Bring down carbs a little bit, down to 30%. Fat, we'll bring that up to 35%. We'll lower carbs to 25%. And yeah, so that's our goal. And then we go into the diary tab. It's all there, and it's super straightforward. You see at the top, it's how many calories you eat every single day minus the amount of food you eat in calories. Plus exercise. Don't bother about that. Don't track your exercise in MyFitnessPal. The calorie count I gave you takes into account the exercise you'll get on a daily basis. So stick to the your body weight multiplied by 10, and then it says equals 1750 remaining in the top right. All right, so now let's say for breakfast you had what I described. You have core power, elite. Actually, let me show you guys what I did. So I'm on the breakfast. I'm on the diary tab. It says breakfast. I click add food, and then you can look up any food. Core power, elite, protein shake. We see the one on the back of it. It's going to say 230 calories, so we know that's the right one. It says one bottle, whatever one that you have the bottle. And click the check. Boom! It gets added to the food log. Now in the top right, it says 1520 in the top right. So that's how many calories we have remaining. And if we actually click on that, dude, why is it glitching out? But I think you guys get the point. Basically, whatever you eat. Let's say you go to Chipotle. You go to Chipotle. You get You can actually click on their menu. They have their whole menu there. Let's say you get a burrito, you add the flour tortilla, you add the chicken, you add, I don't know, brown rice, fajita veggies, and some cheese and some guac. Let's say that's what your burrito was. Add it. Look at the top right. It subtracts it. You have 547 remaining. It did add in the exercise, which is just how many steps I've walked today, or like that's how many calories based off the amount of steps I walked. You don't need, I would honestly just go to settings and shut off steps just because, like I told you before, the calorie count I gave you takes into account the amount of steps you got. So I wouldn't even bother. So yeah, so this is like, it's super straightforward. Just get in the habit of doing this. It's going to be hard initially. It's going to be overwhelming. It's going to be confusing, but that's the truth with everything you do in life. So if you really want to make this happen, you're going to have to endure the discomfort. And I'm telling you, by like the end of this week, if you start doing this every single day for everything you eat, it's just going to be so much straight. It's going to be super straightforward. You're going to feel like the habit is actually building, and you're going to start to think to do it without even consciously remembering, right? It's just going to come up, oh, I ate food, now I have to track it. Like that's the point I'm at. It's like habit. I eat food, and then my brain goes track it, and I don't even like think about doing it. I just go into MyFitnessPal, look it up. And so if you do this, and the reason we track is because we won't know how much food we're eating, how many calories we're eating if we don't track, right? I mean, it's straightforward. Like if I don't track and I just, eat these foods, or I eat healthy, well, what does that even mean? Like I can eat 3,000 calories worth of steak, grilled chicken, fruits, vegetables. I can do that. I'm a former fat kid. I have a big appetite. I can do that. But I track to make sure I'm consistently making progress every single day. So not only is it for security, where you're not going to overeat, but it's also for certainty. So where you're on the right track, what you're doing is going to get you the results you're looking for. Does that make sense? What you're doing is to give you that certainty, because a lot of people I talk to are hoping for results. This is going to prevent you from hoping for results, because if you stick to this calorie count every single day, you hit that protein goal every single day, you're gonna see the progress. So this is what you do after every meal. Don't do it at the end. Don't save it for the end of the day and say, oh, I'll just track everything. That never works. I've trained a ton of people and they always mess up when they do it that way. Either track it after every single meal you eat, or after every single thing you put in your body, or before the day starts in the morning, before you have food, input what you plan on having for that day and then stick to it 100%, right? Those are the only two ways I've seen actually work. So this is super straightforward. This is going to get you ripped. I can guarantee it, because this is what I did before I was working out, before I started lifting weights, before I prioritized my sleep, before I prioritized protein, and I lost 25 pounds and started to get some definition. And like I described, once I started training in the gym and prioritizing those other things I just described, that's when I got that exceptional physique and started making exceptional progress really fast. Okay, guys, so there really should be nothing else holding you back from implementing everything I just described, is to start tracking your food, because I basically answered every question I hear. What food should I eat? How do I track it? What does that actually look like in a day? How much calories can I eat every single day for me specifically? Like I said, what does that actually look like in a day? What foods are good? The ultimate food criterion. Like refer back to this. You could even ask ChatGPT. Say ChatGPT list 25 foods that are the highest in protein for lowest in calories and are the most filling, and it'll give you a list of a bunch of foods. Obviously, for my clients, I make them a custom grocery list just to eliminate any confusion or any needless effort. Like it's just all made for them because they just follow and see the results. Which leads me, I guess, if you want to work with me one on one and actually guarantee that you get ripped in the next 6 months or you get your money back, that's genuinely in the contract I have for my clients because I'm so confident in everything I do. Nobody's ever asked for their money back before because it works. So if you do want to work with me, in the link in the description, I'll have a link where you can actually book a call with me. We can hop on the phone, and it's not going to be a call where we're going to game plan straight from there. It's just going to be me and you chatting just quickly, like 5-10 minutes, just to see if I could help you, and then if I could, we'd book another time and sit down and really game plan from there. But yeah, I mean, there really should be no excuse for you guys not to get ripped in the next 6 months because every single one of you can implement it. I've used this criteria for all of my clients, no matter how much money they had, no matter what their income was, no matter what how busy they were. I've worked with dads, I've worked with nurses, guys that are working 50, 60, 70, 80 hours a week that make over six figures a year, that make a little under six figures a year. Like I've worked with everybody. I've worked with college students, and every single time it's worked. And I mean, it's worked for me several times. I mean, this is my full transformation of where I started from where I am currently. Like I took this picture like maybe a week ago, but I mean, I've done this multiple times. I've bulked up again. I've got to a higher body fat percentage. I've cut down, got shredded again. I've done that like 3 times now. So it works. Like there's no doubt that this works. And I basically answered every single question on how to implement it and just every question I hear. So I'd love if there's any more questions, like type them in the comments or you can DM me on Instagram and I'll respond because this is literally everything you need to know to get ripped. All of the confusion is out the door. These are exactly what foods to eat. This is exactly how to track it. This is exactly what a daily routine of eating would look like. This is how many calories you specifically and how much protein you specifically need to eat, how much food you need to eat, all of that, and how to do it with getting high protein, staying under your calorie limit, staying full too. Like this is everything. This is everything you need to know. And I'd much rather you guys just implement this than ask me questions about training and sleep because you can get ripped by just managing food. You can't get ripped by just working out and just getting good sleep. Like diet is the most foundational part. You guys know diet's like 80% of it, but I don't even think that's the true story. I think it's more diet is the foundation, then training is to amplify things, and then getting more sleep amplifies things a bit more. Like that's really it's more of like a pyramid than like a pie chart or something. So implement this. You will get ripped. If you don't, DM me and we'll figure something out because it's guaranteed to get you ripped. And if you want to work with me one on one to eliminate maybe any more confusion and actually have that straight one on one guidance where you can talk to me all the time and I can tell you what I would do if I was in your shoes, you get access to the Better Lifestyle app, everything like that. You can book a call with me and we can chop it up. But I love you guys. I hope this was powerful. I hope this was impactful. I hope this answered all your questions. You can follow me on Instagram in the description. I do 50 morning push-ups every single day. So if you want some motivation and if you just want to know what a day in my life looks like, follow me on Instagram. I post on my stories all the time. I post a ton of valuable content in there. And subscribe to the channel. Leave a like if you haven't already. It means a lot. It really helps other people see this because this is extremely valuable. So you liking the video is actually philanthropic. So I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace out.